Thank you for listening to this St. Louis on the Air podcast, supported by University College at Washington University, offering approachable world-class education with undergraduate and graduate programs, part-time, evening, and online. University College at Washington University.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Don Marsh. The American narrative is filled with stories of people coming from other parts of the world seeking a better life and achieving success here. We have one on today's program, Ngone Seck, Senegalese. Her parents brought her here to this country from Italy 5 years ago. She did not speak English, but recently graduated from Riverview Gardens High School as class valedictorian. Her hard work has paid off with a full scholarship to Washington University, where she's planning a double major in mechanical engineering and musical composition. Joining me in studio is that new Washington University student, Ngone Seck. Liliana Mora is a coach at College Bound, a program to help youngsters prepare for and enroll in college. She's been working with Ngone for the past year or so. Nancy Fowler is St. Louis Public Radio's arts and culture reporter who is telling this story online and on the air. Well, Ngone, congratulations to you. I think I said you were Senegalese. That's your parents' background. You were actually born in Italy.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get that squared away. You know, I have to, given where you are now and given your story, which is a remarkable one.
Thank you.
Does all of this seem real to you as you're preparing for a new step at Washington University?
Honestly, not really. Actually, today I was walking around campus. My classes start tomorrow, and I was just thinking, like, wow, like, this just really feels still like a dream. It's like, it's all going so well, and I'm so grateful because I honestly wouldn't have been able to be where I am without all of the support and love I've received. And I'm just like so grateful. It still doesn't feel real.
The remarkable part of your story is the fact you speak English better than I do, I must say, and you've only been speaking it for 5 years. It's just an incredible story.
I tried really hard.
Yeah. Tell us about your coming to this country and getting started on this path that taken you to where you are now.
Well, yeah, I came to America in August 2012, and at the time I was really little, so I didn't really know much of the reason why I was going to America. It's just that in Italy, America is just like the dream, just like the place everyone would love to be in, and I was just really excited to know that that was my destination. But once I got here, I realized that I wasn't really considering and factoring in the cultural barrier that I would face, as well as the language barrier. That was very overwhelming at first. It was really tough for me, especially because I wasn't really well academically inclined prior to my years here in America. So adjusting also to the different school system was a struggle for me. And I just found myself like really overwhelmed most of the time.
You found yourself. Did someone help you find yourself?
Yeah, definitely. My peers were really helpful. Actually, they knew that I didn't speak English, and they would like often like point objects to me and kind of like repeat the name of the objects, as well as my teachers. My teachers were really sweet and helpful. Like, I mean, one of my teachers always let me use her iPad to translate assignments. And my English teacher, she even translated the assignments for me and gave me the English copy to compare it and learn faster. So, yeah, definitely other people also like really helped me kind of analyze the situation and figure out where I stand on it.
Nancy Fowler, what a difficult story to resist. There's so many elements to this story. I'm sure as a veteran reporter, many of them caught your attention early on.
Well, I first met Ngone when I was doing a story about her band director, Harvey Lockhart. And Ngone was one of the students that I interviewed about Mr. Lockhart, who was won a major award for his work there at the school. And so I just was really I'm impressed by Ngone when I interviewed her, and her story is so unique, and you tell it so well. And,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I thought, and also my editor, David Casares, it really encouraged me to, keep up with this young woman. Let's find out what she's going to do after graduation. So,
yeah, we're not through with you yet. We're going to follow your story. Liliana, how did College Bound get involved in all of this?
So College Bound is an organization that really works with low-income first-generation students. So Ngone started in our program her sophomore year in high school, a little late, but still followed through up until this senior year, where we were working through all of her applications and kind of supporting through that process.
And what specifically does College Bound do for someone like Ngone?
So it really is just about providing the resources, right, that students may not have access to at their high school, or answering questions that they may not have thought of before. And so I think specifically for the senior year is really working through all of those little pieces, the FAFSA, knowing how to fill it out correctly, knowing what the CSS profile is. Like, those are things that students may not know right at first. So it's like working through that.
And you helped fill out the college applications?
Yeah, I did.
Like there were 80 of them? Something like that?
88, yeah.
88.
The hard part were the essays. Let me tell you, there were a lot of those.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
How about for you, Ngone, and going through all of this, 88 applications and the essays and all the rest of it? That's a full-time job right there.
Yeah, it was definitely very stressful. I went through a lot of hardships, just like keeping myself balanced, and most of the time I just couldn't find a way to kind of cope with the amount of stress that I was dealing with. But it was really helpful having College Bound like in my corner, guiding me, and also like making sure that I'm like up to date with all of the deadlines, and setting little goals for myself to eventually get to the bigger goal, which is getting accepted into a good college. And yeah, I applied to 88 colleges because that sounds like a really big number.
It does.
But I was really insecure. I was really insecure that I wouldn't get into one of my top colleges, or I wouldn't get into a good college, or one that I can afford. It was just like, I think still like a lot of the insecurities that I held when I was younger, going through a lot of hardships in the school system, I think those insecurities kind of like carried over and like really kind of made me feel like I wasn't good enough somehow to get into the colleges I wanted to and be able to afford them. So I applied to as many as I could to give myself as many options as I could possibly have.
And you were rewarded with acceptance in many of them, more than 70, as I understand, and
yeah.
$1.5 million in potential scholarships.
Yeah, I really was not expecting that. From the very first acceptance letter that came in, I was just like, I reread the letter about 5 times. I was just really excited, and I was like, wow, I might actually do this. I might actually get there. And as they kept coming in, as they kept offering me scholarships, the phone calls that I would get from the current students, just checking in on me, making sure that I have all the information that I need, I began to gain confidence, and that's pretty much when things started to light up a little more. The insecurities that I was holding were slowly fading away, and yeah, I'm just really grateful and very surprised.
The insecurities have to be gone by now. Why Washington University?
I spent 2 months there last summer. I took 3 classes, and at first I was insecure about, because those were actually real college classes that would count towards my undergraduate transcript. So I was just scared that I wasn't prepared, I wasn't ready, or I wouldn't be able to keep up. But they were absolutely amazing. They were magical. My favorite was the banned books English literature class. It was incredibly interesting, and the discussions in the small setting. The professor was super nice. And that really caught me off guard, because me thinking about college, I'm always like, I always had this image of this really strict professor just giving this really long lecture, no interaction between the students, and just like walking away when it's done and just like being left with so much confusion and just struggling to like keep up and everything. But that really gave me a lot to look forward to, and the campus is absolutely beautiful. The sense of community is also really strong. WashU is a really competitive school, and it's really like academically well known. So I wasn't expecting everyone to be so friendly and so willing to help. My classmates were always down to meet up and study together, no matter how long it would take us. And it was just that sense of community and how beautiful the campus is and the resources that are available to me. That was just something I couldn't leave behind. So even though I've gotten accepted into other colleges, it was just always something in the back of my mind telling me that WashU is amazing, WashU is amazing. So you might want to consider it a little more.
Liliana, have you ever seen anything quite like this, given the number of applications that were filed, the number of acceptances, and the scholarship potential?
It is truly an honor to have worked with Ngone this year. I am so humbled by everything she's accomplished, everything that she like set her mind to, she did, and it's that like self-drive and like motivation that I feel like got her to where she is. So,
Nancy, Ngone has talked a lot about insecurities. Have you been aware of any insecurities in her since you've known her?
That's an interesting question. I know that you're very open about any insecurities that you have. I know you've accomplished a tremendous amount. I also know that, accomplished people have insecurities too. We all do. And I just, appreciate your talking about that, because it sort of opens up the conversation to say that, hey, we all have insecurities.
Tell me, Ngone, about your parents. I know that they obviously had a very keen interest in your success, and that's why they left Italy, correct? Because they wanted to be sure that you'd have the most opportunities. Your time in Italy was not a good time for you, was it? Academically, certainly.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say that the school system is bad or anything, because I believe it just wasn't the place for me. Everyone has, like, things work differently for everyone. And for me, it kind of, like, broke me more than it helped me. I struggled greatly with academics. I wasn't always the quickest at catching on to things. And one thing that I did realize, that's one really big difference between the Italian schooling and American schooling, is the amount of support and help that the students receive, and also the bonding with the instructors. In Italy, I always needed help. I always tried to seek for help, but the instructors are more like, they come in the classroom, they give the lesson, and then they leave. And it's not really much interaction going on, like not really tutoring or extra help, or just like kind of trying to reach the students who need a little more assistance. But here I like noticed a lot of that happening, definitely, especially my high school teachers and my middle school teachers. They were really always willing to help, and they would always notice when my test scores aren't where they're supposed to be, or when I'm not as attentive in class. They always check in on me, and they always ask me if I need any help. And that's one thing that I did not receive in Italy, and that kind of caused me to have a quitter's mentality. Back then, I was just confident that I wouldn't be able to move on to high school, and I wouldn't be able to get a degree afterwards, and I would probably settle for working. Like I said, I always picture myself working in a factory or something. Like just something that wouldn't require much education, because I felt like I wasn't fit for it.
Yeah, you're being more diplomatic and kinder, I think, than I would be. Nancy, I got the impression reading your story that the teachers in Italy were downright cruel to this young lady.
Well, I mean, Ngone, you did tell me a story about the one teacher that you didn't do well on a test, and she brought the test back to you. And what happened?
Yeah, she pretty much like threw it in my face, and she told me, "Wow, I can't believe this. You're just so dumb," and things like that. Well, like I think the most vivid memory that I have from that time with my teachers was when my math teacher, she asked me. I also talked about this in my speech.
Yes.
But she made me stand up in front of the class during an interrogation. She asked me, "Ngone, what is 3 plus 4?" And I felt really confident in my answer. My study skills were really poor, but I felt really confident in my answer, and I got up and I said 8. The answer is 8. And everyone just like started giggling, and she just had a really disappointed look in her face, but at the same time she had a "I knew it" look in her face. And it made me it made me lose confidence. And she called me to her desk and she gave me 2 gray donkey ears with "I'm stupid" written on the 2 ears. And she told me to walk around every hallway and knock on the doors so that the other classrooms could see how stupid I was and learn from me so that they wouldn't be like me. And things like that always, like, especially at such a young age, they really caused me to kind of give up on hope for my future. Kind of just, I was just confident that there's no way that I even have the capability to become something. It kind of was really hurtful to me, especially because I didn't have a really strong support system. My parents are really, really hardworking, and they always made sure that I would get anything that I wanted, really. But they're just like always, they were working every day, all day, and because they worked so hard for our sake, me and my sister's sake, I never wanted to bother them by telling them these things that were happening to me. So they weren't really very aware of it, and because I didn't have my family to be able to comfort me, it was pretty much just like learning to like step in a corner by myself and find ways to kind of comfort myself. And I didn't do very well with that because I kind of gave up a little on myself.
Your parents must be extraordinarily proud of and as well they should be. What about your sister? You have 3 sisters, is that correct?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they're all younger than you are, I believe.
Yeah.
You must be an inspiration to them. Do you feel that? Is there any pressure on you because
Definitely.
of that?
I actually want to say happy birthday to my sister Aminata. She's turning 10 today.
Oh, congratulations.
And, yeah, she her and my other sister Jada and my youngest 2-year-old Hadija, they're all like really sweet, and I notice how they all really look up to me all the time. Like especially Jada and Aminata being a little older and being at the age where I was when I was dealing with all of that. They're kind of at the stage where they need the support. They need someone to talk to, someone to stand up for them, someone to teach them what they're not able to learn for themselves. And I'm really grateful that they're able to look up to me in this sense, because not long ago, actually, my little sister, she came up to me and she was crying like really badly, and she had actually a mark on her face, like by her eye. And she told me that someone was throwing objects at her on the bus. And she was trying to tell my parents, but my parents were like not at home and they were working. So she came to me. She was like, "Ngone, they were bullying me on the bus, and I don't know what to do because I have to go again on the bus tomorrow. And if I go and they bully me again, then I'm going to cry during my test, and I really want to do good." So I was like that I really felt that for her, because I remember I felt like that, and I didn't have a big sister to go to. So I really, really like felt like I had to be that big sister that I didn't have. So I called her principal, and her principal was very on top of the matter. He actually held an assembly about bullying, and he also contacted the bus driver and made sure that it wouldn't happen again. And just a week later, Aminata came to me and she wrote me a letter, just like thanking me for that and talking about how she was really grateful that I was there for her. And things like that always remind me that they are watching me at all times, and I want to be the best example that I can be.
Good for you, and a great example you are. You know, academics are not your only skill. I understand that music is also a part of your life, and that that's going to be a part of your major in Washington University. Tell me about music and how it influences you.
I was first introduced to music about my 8th grade year at Westview Middle. I struggled to communicate with my counselor when she was scheduling my classes, and because we're all required to take an elective, she wasn't really sure what elective to put me in. So she put me in band, and since I wasn't able to talk to my teacher, he assigned flute to me because I couldn't speak for myself. And I was just really confused all the time because I had this instrument, but no clue how to play it, and I couldn't ask for help. So I took it home, I went on YouTube, and I just began my self-teaching journey on flute. And before I realized, it became really one of the best things that have happened to me because, like I said before, I was really overwhelmed with the change of culture and, the new exposure to a different culture and also the language barrier. And every time I would feel that stress and feel upset about it, I could just pick up my flute and start practicing or playing. And I literally felt like I was writing a diary entry through my music. It was... That's pretty much where my music journey began.
Our time is winding down. Liliana, it makes your job a lot easier dealing with a personality like this, with the go-gettedness ability that she has.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wish all my students were so on top of everything.
What do you want to be when you get out of college? What career do you want? Mechanical engineering? What will you do with that?
I definitely have always been the person to just I love helping. So not necessarily going for a commercial purpose. I just want to be able to build things that can help in lower income families, especially the Black community that has welcomed me so warmly. I just want to give back to that community. So that's kind of how I want to use my major.
Well, we wish you all the very best, and we'll be watching the next 4 years.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ngone Seck, thank you for being with us again, and congratulations to you.
Thank
Nancy
you.
Fowler, thank you for bringing this story to us. It's online right now. People can learn even a little bit more if they choose to. And Liliana Mora, thank you so much for being with us. Keep up the good work at College Bound. Great organization. Archive versions of past St. Louis On the Air programs are available for download or podcast at stlpublicradio.org/STL On Air. St. Louis On the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio 90.7 KWMU. Thank you for listening. I'm Don Marsh.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.